Hey guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to a new video. So today I am filming my 22 books to read in 2022. So I've done this for 2 years now. This is my third year going where I've done this. This year, like 2021, I did not do overly well. I only read, I think, 12 books and I'm currently reading one at the time of filming this. So maybe 13 books off the list. But this year I've kind of changed it a little bit, just in the fact that this is kind of now books that I need to either read or just unhaul. So that's kind of the goal for this time. There's a couple books on here that I have kind of DNF'd before because I wasn't in the mood for them at the time, and just books that I keep putting off. There is a couple on here that I definitely will be reading, so that's why I put them on there, so at least I know that I will have completed a couple of the challenges or a couple of the books. But for the most part, this is now like you need to either read this or you need to get it off your shelves because you're not going to read it. So let's just jump into it because there is 22 books to talk about, and I'm sorry if you can hear the dog next door barking. It barks all the time. But yeah, let's just jump straight in. So some of these are also books that okay, that one was mine. I bet she's that fucking horse. There's a stupid bitch that lives down the street, young, like teenager, who is riding a horse around the streets bareback, no helmet, no gear, nothing, and riding it around the fucking streets. And this happens every time. Every dog in a fucking neighborhood goes off its bean. Most of these dogs are town dogs. They've never seen a horse in their life. Anyways, so some of these books will be ones that were on my list from 2021, like this one. So firstly, we have Soul Swift by Megan Bannon. This one sounded really, really interesting. I won't be talking about the synopsis or anything in this one, but I will talk about where I got it, why I haven't read it yet, that type of thing. So this one was on my 2021 list, but I just haven't got around to it. I haven't felt motivated, and I haven't been reading many fantasy this year. I've been gravitating towards thriller and mystery and stuff, which is why I didn't get this one and why I didn't get a lot of the ones off that list, which I'm not going to force myself to read them when I know I'm not in the mood for fantasy at the moment. So hopefully in 2022 I will be back in the fantasy mood at some point and I'll be able to pick this one up. Next we have Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. I actually have 2 editions of this one and Litjoy Crate. So I have 2 copies of this, both special editions, and I really just want to get them off my shelves, either by reading them and putting them on my red shelf or by unhauling them. It does sound interesting. I read the synopsis when I first got it in Fairy Loot and it sounded really interesting, but I just haven't picked it up yet, so it is on my list. Next we have another one that's also on this year's list, and that is Kingdom of Sea and Stone. Wait, I read this. I must have never taken it off that shelf. Okay, so scratch that. I need to go find another book, but I have read this one. I can tick it off my list. Okay, let's just shove it up here for now. I will deal with you later. So instead, let's add These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This one I picked up this year and I had every intention of reading it like straight away, never got around to it because it was fantasy and I just wasn't in the mood. So hopefully I'll be able to get this one in 2022, but I believe this one is a little bit romance heavy, so it'll be a little bit iffy, so we'll see, but it does sound relatively interesting, so on the list. Next we have one that I'm pretty damn sure I'll be reading, and that is All These Bodies by Kendare Blake. This is a horror, thriller, mystery, I don't know, something along those lines. And this one sounds really freaking fascinating. 16 bloodless bodies, 2 teenagers, 1 impossible explanation. Like I said, I'm in a huge mystery thriller kick and I planned on reading this one this month, but I have other plans, so hopefully I'll be able to pick this one up in like January, but it's one that I'm pretty damn sure I'll be getting off this list, so at least then I know I'll be ticking one off at least. Next we have Dear Justice by Nyxia. This is the sequel to Dear Martin. I had every intention of reading this one earlier in the year, but I just didn't get around to doing it. I think readathons and stuff came up and it just didn't fit challenges, so I just haven't got around to it. But it is super short and I haven't been reading enough contemporary lately, so I might pick this one up soon, but it is going on the list. And I'm putting them straight on my TBR card. Next we have Black Kids by Christina Hammond's read. I believe this one was also on my 21 list. Dear Justice might have been too, actually, now that I think about it. But this one is another contemporary kind of, this is a historical. It is set in the 90s, which is crazy, the fact that the 90s is counted as historical. Anyways, I also haven't been reading enough historical lately. I've been reading all mystery thrillers, basically. Really, really interested in reading it. I just haven't gotten around to picking it up yet, so that one is going on the list. This next one was definitely on this year's list, and that is Nyxia Uprising by Scott Rangton. I was going to read this. I started rereading the series, but I haven't got around to reading this one yet. So hopefully in early 2022, I will be able to get to this one. Really, really keen for it. Loving this sci-fi kind of mystery element, and hopefully I'll be able to get to this one. Now, this is definitely one that is either like you need to read it or you need to get rid of it, and that is Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer, which is the sequel to Renegades. And I did enjoy Renegades, but it wasn't an absolute favorite, but I want to give this one, that fucking dog, I want to give this one a go and see what it's like. But yeah, I either need to read this or get it off my shelf. So next we have Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. I was really, really keen for this when it came out. I have 2 editions of it. I have this one, which I believe is the normal edition, and then the Owl Crate, I think it was, which is like the black one. And I actually love the white one so much better than the black one. But I was really, really keen for this when it came out, but I just haven't picked it up yet. Again, it's fantasy. Haven't really gravitated towards fantasy. And like majority of my bookshelf is fantasy. So that's why a lot of it's been sitting there since last year. Like before this year, I mean. So that's unfortunate, but anyways. This is another one that was on that list from this year, and that is Two Dark Reigns by Kendare Blake. So we got another Kendare Blake on this one. I also have the sequel to this one, Five Dark Fates. I also have on my TBR, but this was the 4th one, and I just haven't got around to this one yet. Wait, is this the 4th one? No, this is the 3rd book, isn't it? I think this is the 3rd. I don't know. But either way, I haven't got around to this one yet, and I need to do it because I really enjoyed the series, but I just kind of stopped reading it, and I've got 2 of them on my shelf and I need to get to them. Then we have Day Zero by Kelly Devos, and this is, I think, dystopian thriller, which is like right up my alley, but I just haven't picked it up yet. It kind of went off my radar because, oh, this is like got text messages and like stuff in it. Yeah, it kind of just went off my radar for whatever reason. I wasn't thinking about it. There's like little illustrations, but I definitely want to pick this one up, and I believe the sequel is now out. I've seen it at Big W, but yeah, really need to get to this one. It sounds really interesting. Then we have Occulta by Meyer Matane. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I read, there it is, Nocturna, and absolutely loved it. This one came really late for pre-order. I was really keen for it the month that I pre-ordered it, well, the month it was meant to release, and then it came really late, and by then I was in a readathon and I just haven't picked it up. But I definitely want to do that, and I want to reread Nocturna and read this one. Whether I do it on audiobook or physically, we will see, but I really love Nocturna, so I'm very keen for this one. Then we have Girl Serpent Thorne, which I've actually started this one, and like I said, haven't been in a fantasy mood, and that was the reason I put this down. I wasn't enjoying it because I just wasn't in the mood for fantasies, and I really needed to put it down because otherwise it would have, it's sliding out of its dust jacket, otherwise it really would have affected my enjoyment of the book. So when I'm in the mood for a fantasy, I want to pick this one back up and give it another read. But I think I'm going to try this one. I might as well take the bookmark out because I'll need to start over. I don't remember. I got up to page 97, but I definitely think I need to try the audiobook for this one because physically it was a little bit slow. So I think the audiobook would help with that, but I am very keen for it, and it's just, yeah, wasn't in the right mood when I picked it up. I think it was during a readathon, and yeah, just wasn't in the right mindset for it at the time. Then we have another one that was on my list this year, and that is Godstorm by Coco Ma. I did try and read these at one point, and something happened, whether I couldn't get them on audiobook or something. I was going to read them at some point this year, but I'd never end up happening because I want to reread Shadowfrost before I pick up Godstorm, and I loved Shadowfrost. These covers are stunning and I really, really want to read it. I just haven't got around to it. So yeah, this one will definitely be a priority, but we might have to read it physically. I think it was because I couldn't get the audiobooks. I think. No, I can't remember. There was some reason why I didn't end up picking it up when I planned to. Next, we have 2 books that I recently received, but when I received them, I'm interested in them, but I'm not like fully invested. So I need to either read them or unhaul them. And if I DNF them in the process, it is what it is. But first we have Jadefire Gold by June C.L. Tan. And this one was in a recent Fairy Loot. And like, this is absolutely stunning, this edition. Absolutely gorgeous, and it does sound interesting, but we'll just see. But it's definitely one that I want to either get off my TBR really quickly, or by reading it, or by unhauling it. But I don't love this cover. Like, I love everything else, like the sprayed edges, the artwork under the dust jacket, the artwork on, like, the foiling on the hardcover. It's all beautiful, but I just don't like this color scheme. I just don't. So then we got another one that is basically the same thing, Once Upon a Broken Heart. I had every intention of picking it up this month, actually, and I might still. So if I do, because I'm filming this on the 10th of December, so if I do end up reading any of these before the end of the month, I will swap them out for something else in my list. But for the moment, this one is going on my list. But I did have every intention of picking it up a couple days ago, actually. But I purchased it on Audible, and then the Audible app and Audible website was having a hissy fit. I couldn't get anything to work on the app. It was saying that this title wasn't available in my membership when I'd literally just purchased it with a credit. And then I went on the website and it had like a banner up the top saying we're having technical difficulties or whatever. So I ended up picking up something else. But we'll see. I might read this one soon, but again, another stunning edition. But this is one that I really don't know if I'm going to enjoy, whether it's going to be too romance heavy for me. Yeah, we will see, but it is gorgeous. And it is by Stephanie Garber. So I did enjoy Caraval, like the first and second book, I think it was. But I never ended up reading the third one, I think. Next we have The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton, and I did start this one at some point, but it is very dense, and I think I'm going to need to be in the mood specifically for this book to read this book, because it was very, very dense, and it is very, very large. I tried it on audiobook to start off with. I might end up swapping to it physically because I just don't think the audiobook was working for me, so we might end up swapping to physical, which is really daunting because this is huge. We will see, but I definitely want to either pick this one up or unhaul it this year because I loved Stuart Turton's other book, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. Loved it. Loved it so much. So hopefully this one will be an absolute love, just like that one. And I tried it on audiobook first because that's how I listened to The 7.5 Deaths, but it just wasn't working for me. Next we have Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall, and this one is one that I picked up from BW or something, and it was really, really interesting. I think the cover is stunning. When I first picked it up, I didn't actually realize that this is kind of a woman. Let's see, there's her arms and her head. I just saw like a creepy forest situation. But this one's like kind of a little bit mixed media. Like if you flick through, there's like text conversation, video evidence, and stuff like that, so that makes me really interested. I think I'll probably pick this one up on audiobook because I like those mixed media kind of ones on audiobook if they have like decent narrators or a cast of narrators. So I'll have to see. I might end up picking up physically, might have to prioritize that one in January, but it's going on the list. Then we have a book that has been on my TBR for way too fucking long, considering I loved the first book in the series. The Toll. I also have Thunderhead. Wait, Thunderhead's the second one, isn't it? I need that one. Anyway, the next book in the Neil Shusterman series. I loved the first book, haven't gotten around to the second one or the third one. I own both of them, I need to get that shit done. So yeah, it needs to go on there, but I'll put that one back over here and not put it on my shelf because I need to go and get the other one. Then we have one that was on, I think this was on my 2021 list, but also I picked this one up and then ended up DNFing it like a significant way through. I don't know. This is like a hard maybe. I might give it another go, but I think I started it on audiobook. I might pick it up physically and see how it goes that way, but it is Wolf by Ryan Gordon, and this one sounds amazing and I've heard so much hype about it, and there's people that absolutely love this. Yeah, I think I need to pick it up physically. I don't think the audiobook was the right route for this particular book. Next we have one that was also on my list in 2021, and that is Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston. This is the second book to Heart of Iron. Had a mind blank. I really enjoyed Heart of Iron and I just never got around to Soul Stars, and it's been on my TBR for way too long now, so I really need to pick it up. And then lastly, I believe, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yes, 22 books. So number 22 is Hunted by Megan Spooner. I did read the Robin Hood one and really, really enjoyed it. This one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling and sounds really, really interesting. I got this one like secondhand and I really need to pick it up because I really enjoyed the other one that's kind of like part of the same. I don't know if it is a series or whether it's just like a series of books that she was doing like retellings in. I can't remember what the other one is. I'll put it on the screen. I know which one I'm talking about, but I just can't think of the name of it. But yeah, this one definitely needs to go off my list because I need to read it. I don't exactly know how I'm gonna take the thumbnail photo now that I've put everything in my TBR card. I might like squish my chair down, pull the camera down and sit next to it. But anyways, that is the 22 books that I plan to read in 2022. I might end up changing, like I said, a little bit depending on if I read like Once Upon a Broken Dream and Jade Firegold in December. I might end up having to update the list a little bit, and I do need to get the other book for Neil Shusterman. Besides that, that's kind of the list that's gonna go into 2022. I will have another video coming up in the future sometime talking about the other goals that I have for 2022 when it comes to my reading, as well as when we get into January after 2021 is finished, I'll talk about my 2021 goals and also go over the 2021 list and see what happened, like what ones I read, what I didn't read, that type of thing. So that is it for my list. Let me know which of these books that I should prioritize. Have you read them? Are they amazing? Let me know. And yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video.